much. Hello, everyone. It is a pleasure for me to present the study, Protected Natural Sites in Moving Regions. This is me, but of course, this has been developed by the AEIDL team and all moving regions coordinators. The coordinator of the project is a product of all the project. I'm not going to explain in detail this because it has been presented by Mar, the coordinator. Just to say that this briefing, this report was developed in the framework of our moving community of practice. That, as you know, it is built on the 23 regions, the 23 multi-actor platforms, plus the EU multi-actor platform. The briefing, why we prepare the briefing, our inspiration was the join in 2022 of different situations. The General Assembly of the United Nations declared this year as the International Year of Sustainable Mountains Development, and also UNESCO, the Man and the Biosphere Program, presented now by Roberto, relaunches the World Network of Mountain Biosphere Research. And then we reflected internally and thought that would be really interested to know which of our 23 regions in the project include this kind of like natural sites. And our purpose of this research process was to identify the presence of different natural sites in our regions, provide informative insight, and generate an overview of the added value and implications of these spaces in our 23 regions, the development of their value chains, and so on. And also reflect further reflection actions like today, for example, with the study. The methodology follow in this study, as I said, the main objective was identifying the presence of protected natural sites in our regions, mountain reference regions, but also a mountain reference landscape. And just to differentiate, we use these two levels in the project: mountain reference regions to refer the mountain areas where the project will roll out the research activities according to the specification of our proposal, our project, but also mountain reference landscape that refers to a smaller scale of work, usually at the local level, located within the mountain reference region, as I previously defined. To identify everything in our 23 regions, it was a joint work with the 23 coordinators. We circulated a survey with questions related to the main information of the reference region represented, the presence of biosphere reserve, even if it's mountain or non-mountain region, accordingly to the UNESCO list, and the location, mountain reference region, landscape, or both. And also we went deep in the name, in the main characteristics of this. Also the presence of natural protected sites according to the European Environmental Agency database. And here we will see later the EU Nature 2000 Network, the Berne Convention, and the International Union of Conservation Nature, all kind of like classifications of figures that includes these natural spaces, also considering where they were at the reference region, reference landscape, or both, and the characteristics. Also another categories we will see later, all the overview of these spaces in our regions. And then we were asking about the limitations and constraints caused by the presence of these areas in the sustainability and resilience of the value chain, but also at the community level in the region represented. And finally, the opportunities and added value and the specific relevance for this region value chain. But I would like to also mention the methodological limitations that we have, the diversity of the 23 selected value chains in the project. Some of them, and you can see also in other deliverables already published on our website, like the inventory of value chains or other deliverables. They are some classified as a traditional, other has a innovative value chains. They are within the 23 value chains, they are working at different levels, more local, regional, national, and some of them has an international perspective, even if they include the other levels too. Regarding the focal product, also you can see in our deliverables, they are a barrier between meat, crops, for example, carob, chestnut, olive oil, cereals, tomatoes, cheese, bio-honey, alcohol or soft drinks, tourism and public goods. They are a range of different value chains in these 23 by different services and products. The geographical scope, as I mentioned, they are some of them working at reference region, like, for example, the Slovak one or the Highlands and Iceland in the UK, and others working at the landscape level, like Drone Valley or the Cordillera Central in Portugal. And finally, as also was explained by Mar in the introductory presentation of the project, some of the regions are not in the European Environmental Information Network or covered exactly by the directive of Nature 2000 because they are outside the European countries. Then let's quickly see some of the results. According to the survey responses from the coordinators of our region, 60 of them comprise at least one biosphere reserve. And from this 60%, almost 80% are at mountain reference region and 15 at mountain reference and 7% at mountain reference landscape. But also, as we say, there are some overlapping working at the two scales. Based on the 23 responses, as you see, the second figure shows the presence of natural sites by each category, and here we include Habitat Directive Natural 2000, Birds Directive Site, Protected Landscape, Habitat Management Area, National Park, and a series of different figures, having more relevance the Habitat Directive or Bird Directive. Regarding limitations and constraints, for the half of the responses did not represent a concrete limitation or constraint to have this presence of a natural space. But for the other half, yes. And the two most frequently mentioned constraints were those related to regulation in business activities or prevention measures, and land and resource use. And it was followed by tourism and the visitors management in the area. You have really more detail of all these categories and the examples in the report from the responses of the coordinators. And regarding the opportunities and added value, here 80% of the 23 regions indicated that the presence of natural areas represent an opportunity or provides added value to the value chains, also to the mountain area or to the community. And the majority of them mention mostly economic and environmental aspects and also social benefits. In details, as I said in the report, you find more descriptive explanation of the responses, but around 40% of the coordinators highlighted that the main added value lies in tourism, Here you see that there are some link with some of the value chains because are really linked with high natural value systems or tourism. The 35% of the value of the coordinators stress the opportunity and added value of improving environmental quality, ecosystem resilience, and increasing sustainability practices, given the presence of these spaces. And the 30% reported opportunities in the marketing of food products and improvement of value chains. Finally, around 9% highlighted a greater sustainability development of local mountain communities through conservation measures. And just to finish, as I said, the report includes all details from the responses, the analysis of the responses, but also include a series of annexes where you find from our regions, at which level they are working, the name of the biosphere reserve, where they were designated, an overview of the different figures, and also an overview of all responses in terms of limitations, opportunities, and so on. And it can help to you to identify synergy similarities with some of the regions. And